All right. Hello, hello, hello. We have everybody in the house today. I'm excited, guys. For the first time ever, we have Instagram. I'm going to look at you so I make sure I remember Instagram, TikTok. We have LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook all in one place. I have been determined to get us all together, the whole iRock family, and we are going to do just that. I'm going to try to figure out where I'm looking, but either way, I'm talking to you guys. Oh, thank you. Like I'm gonna read these comments. I'm gonna read them as they come. So thank you. You said I'm a fan of your work. I appreciate that. I do try. All right. So for those of you again who missed the intro, I tried to do a little intro on Instagram and a little intro on YouTube. Hi everyone. Welcome. Happy Monday. Happy first start of the week. I'm Corey Fonville Foster. I'm a speaker. I'm a trainer. I'm a certified business coach, and I'm also the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions. Thank you for joining us here live. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do our Monday Night Lives where we talk about issues and things related to affordable sales and marketing strategies for small business owners just like yourself. So thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to jump into the topic. I want to get you guys in and get you out. I don't know about you guys, but today has been a long day. It's been a long day, and your girl is tired. I'm sitting here trying to make it. Matter of fact, let me get a smoothie juice. But yeah, I'm over here just trying to make it. And I know somebody else is like, girl, I want to listen in, but I'm also tired. So we're gonna get in and get out. And in all honesty, today is really a wrap up of everything we've been talking about this month. We have been really focusing on the idea of it's the fourth quarter of the year. It's time to start planning and putting our house in order. What does that mean? It means we need to have systems and automation and things set up to be scalable. I get that some of you may not be in a place right now where you're actually scaling. You may say, well, I'm still in the early stages of my business, or I'm not ready to bring on team members. Either way, you need to start handling your business like you know you will eventually scale, because even the things that you put in place right now, even if you don't have a team to fulfill them, these things are going to allow you that when you get the team, you have the time and the resources to hire more people, that you will be able to effectively get them to do what you need to do. You'll be able to effectively delegate. I have a lot of clients who say, well, I don't have a team yet. And then when they want to have a team, they're like, I know I want these jobs done, but I don't know how to get them to do it. And they're waiting on me and I don't know what to do and things like that. We're trying to mitigate that by putting your business in a situation in which it is ready for scalability, but it also gives you the power of growing your business as you need to. So today's topic is called Client-Centric Efficiency, and that's all about elevating your customer's experience and really, in all honesty, your whole overall experience as a business owner, your team, their experience as well. Because when your business can run smoothly, you're going to have more success. You're going to have better days because you're not every day starting from scratch, trying to figure out what to do, what email to write, what to post. You have a plan in place, and all you're doing every day is executing that plan and adjusting to make it even better. Okay. All right. So let's dive in a little bit. What is a client-centric business? Because I want you guys to all be running client-centric businesses. And those are businesses that focus on the customer, right? Who is your target audience and how can we best support them? And not just support them once they pay, but how do we support them throughout the whole process, from them going from a person who's never heard of your company to a client who's now been offboarded and has had a great experience? How do we support that individual through all the stages of business? And if you know anything about business, you know that it's not just about what you yourself are doing when you're face to face with that client. It has everything to do with all the background things that go into your business as well. Having a client-centric business is also about having tailored solutions. As a coach, you should understand that everything isn't going to fit everyone. And if you're creating something and you're saying, well, anybody can buy it, then truthfully, nobody's going to buy it. It needs to be a situation in which you're creating something that's specific to your target audience that solves a problem that or a challenge that they are currently facing and need support in. Same with the solutions that you have when it comes to running your business. They need to be tailored to your business. A lot of coaches will go out here and say, hey, this is my cookie cutter strategy. These are the cookie cutter systems and use it. But those things don't work for everybody. Some of you are going to be tech savvy. Some of you are not going to know how to go live and like how to turn on your Zoom. Like you're going to be different. And so for us to sit here and say that everything is cookie cutter means that a lot of people are not going to be successful. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about how to tailor these solutions for your clients and for your team in a way that makes sense for your particular business. Having a client-centric business also involves communication. How are you communicating to the clients, prospective clients, and throughout your team members and people, even if you have like a nonprofit on your board, how are you communicating efficiently and effectively? And then also, is everybody engaged and happy? Now, I get there's no way to make everybody 100% happy. I would never work a job where every day I was happy. But overall, how do we make sure that it's a pleasant experience for you, for your team, for your clients, and for anybody who comes into contact with your brand? How can we do that? And so the first thing I want us to really look at is responsive services, right? This is being able to quickly communicate and solve problems or issues within our business. Now, when it comes to our clients, what does that look like? Well, how are we responding? How are we checking in with our clients, right? So you've gotten somebody, they've agreed to give you some money, right? They've invested in a product or service. How do we make sure that we're checking in and not leaving them hanging? One of my pet peeves, and I'm sure I've said it on a live before, is when somebody gets my check and then I feel like they forget about me. Like, don't woo me, give me all the bells and whistles, all that one-on-one attention throughout the courting process of getting me to sign on with you, just for you to then pretend like I don't exist once my check has cleared. It is a way to get me to be like, I will not refer anybody to you. I might be trying to get out my contract, or even if I finish with you, I will not do business with you again. Your clients are thinking the same thing. Don't be so concerned about that initial feeling of yes, they signed on, they've invested, that you forget about continuing to court them throughout the relationship. Think about even like a marriage or a date. When you're dating someone, you want them to behave the same way in the initial phases they do throughout the relationship, right? What you do to get them is what you have to do to keep them. Same thing with the business. So if you are very hands-on throughout that initial process of getting them to invest, and maybe even through the onboarding process, make sure you're able to keep some level of attention, and very consistent attention with them throughout the process. Also, some things to think about as a business owner is how, because things are going to happen. It doesn't matter how good you are about putting everything in place. Somebody's going to have an issue. It could be a software issue. Sometimes the software we use go down. They have a day where they're playing maintenance. Somebody loses a password. That happens all the time. Or a button isn't working. Something needs to be reset. Things happen. How do you plan to handle that as a business owner? Is there a system in place, a protocol in place for handling that? Something as simple as a support ticket, right? I'm in your course. I'm doing the work, and I have a question. I'm confused. The video is skipping. It didn't play. The resource you said to look at isn't there. How do I put in a support ticket to get support? And once I put that support ticket in, how fast are you able to respond and take care of that issue? These are things we have to think about. Again, stop thinking about just one part of the process. So many of you are like, I want to create a product. Cool. What happens within the product when things need to be done, when support needs to be given, when things need to be offered? We still, as business owners, need to think about that as well and have systems in place to support those issues. Now, on the flip side, think about your team members, because we're talking about responsive services, so communication. How are you able to communicate with staff? So many people come to me and say, oh my God, my life would be so much easier if I had a VA. Like, I just need a virtual assistant. I just need an assistant and I'd be good. Guys, when I tell you, for the first, I don't know, maybe year and a half to 2 years, I was not effectively using my VA. It wasn't until, matter of fact, this year that I decided to put her through a training program just to train her to be my assistant, right? Because I knew what I wanted done, right? I knew what tasks needed to be completed, but I did not have a procedure in place, right? I didn't have those SOPs, those protocols in place to empower her to do the job and to empower her to be able to understand what my goals were. I was so task oriented, but I had to say, wait a minute, instead of me being task oriented, like I know in my head my goals, right? Because we as entrepreneurs always know what we want in our head. But I wasn't filling her in on the goals. So I was saying, hey, send this many emails, send this many DMs. And she would do that. And then I'd be like, I'm not hitting the goals I want. But then I was like, hey, this is a goal for month. We need this amount of money. We need these amount of people to come into this. And it was like, okay, cool. So now she's like, hey, I need this from you because I got to get this done so we can make this happen. And that's how we change our communication. So instead of thinking what tasks need to be done, you don't want to be a micromanager. You don't want to be passing out tasks and checking in. You want to empower your team. So what systems or protocols do you have in place to do that? Right? If you have projects to complete, what project management tools do you have in place to support your audience? What software are you using that you can allow your team members to use to make their jobs easier and more effective? Those are all things we need to think about as entrepreneurs. And if you're wondering, like you're like, okay, book community, there is an affordable resource list there. And I do believe, let me check, I think it's tags. It's in the guide section. So you can check in the guide section in the private Facebook community and grab that resource because it literally breaks down the different types of resources and gives you some options to look at. Because again, not everything fits everyone. So I could sit here and say, I love Thinkific for courses. Well, I do, but only to a certain point and only for certain people at certain skills levels. Yes, like I say, I like Canva for editing, but if you're really good at editing, I don't want you in Canva because you can make some really cool stuff in some other platforms. I can say, okay, I want you to record on a DSLR, but if you don't know how to record on a DSLR and you don't know how to put it on your computer and then edit the videos, it helps you not. So look at the list and see what makes sense for your budget, makes sense for your skill set, and makes sense for your business. All right, so moving on, another thing we need to think about within our business is consistency, right? Because the reason why we put systems in place, the reason why we have protocols in place is so we can have consistency, this idea of rinse and repeat. We don't want to do the same thing over and over, but have to start from scratch. Case in point, when you onboard somebody, you send them an email thanking them for coming on board and telling them their next steps. Ooh, excuse me. You should not be writing that email every time you get a new client. I don't care if you get a new client every day or once a year. You should not be writing that email over and over. That should be an email that is in a place, whether it's a CRM system or your invoice system or wherever, where immediately when that person fills out their invoice and their contract, they receive their next step email. Now, I'm not saying that you may not have to customize things here or there, but the bulk of this work should truly be done. It should be a rinse and repeat. Oh, thank you. I see you, TikTok. Thank you for the likes. Yeah, it should be a rinse and repeat situation. All right. So, what are some other things we can rinse and repeat in our coaching and consulting businesses? How we go about lead generation. So, I talked before about LinkedIn. A lot of people are like, okay, I want to go around LinkedIn, but I don't know how. The simplest thing that has worked for me is sending my target audience connection requests and putting in the notes, I would love to connect with you this year. Kid you not. Stop overthinking it. And I literally have a script where it says, like, let's connect. Thank you for connecting this year. And I copy and paste that and I send that in. And every time I do a batch of those, I get new connections. And then I have another script, right? That I can copy and paste. That's the next step. And it's like, hey, this is what I want to say next. And then it goes on and on and on. We do the same thing with our DMs. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to have organic connections. I'm not saying that you don't want to get to know people for who they are, but I'm saying this is a business and numbers are numbers, right? And so it is about volume at some point. And so, yes, there has to be a little bit of that rinse and repeat. There needs to be some scripts in place. Those are things that you probably have already been doing, right? You've been writing the same emails and messages over and over with your lead generation. Put them in a document that you can then share with somebody else so that they can do that for you. All right, because a lot of you are going to try to hire somebody to do your organic reach outs, and you're going to struggle because of the fact that they're not going to know what your audience typically says. They're not going to know the typical responses. They're not going to have the basic answers to the questions. Start cataloging your conversations so that when you do hand them over, someone else can see it. And again, now we have rinse and repeat. They're easy to follow steps. Same with your emails, contracts, your onboarding structure, templates, guides, scripts. All of these things are rinse and repeat. Resources such as videos. I don't know about you guys if you ever gone through therapy, but I always every time something comes up, they be like, "Oh yeah, I got a video. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you a resource, right? I'm gonna send you this book, right? But they already have it ready. You guys are probably giving out the same tips and advice because you're talking to the same type of audience every time. You probably got some books off the right in the back of your head. Put them suckers in a Google Doc you can send out and say, hey, these are my books that I recommend for these things, right? You've done a whole bunch of lives. Go ahead and save those in a file so you can send people the recording link, right? So that they can get that information. There's no need for you to reteach that. Same with the video resource. I was training someone's assistant the other day, and the person that she's working for needed her to be able to create highlights for Instagram. I just gave her the link to the video. Why am I going to sit and share my screen and show you all this when there's a really great video that I know is simple to understand that'll get you where you need to go? Here's the link to that video. Now we're not spending client time teaching you something that you can watch in your own time, right? Same with forms. So your coaching forms, so you're doing your one-on-one sessions. How do maybe you start with like catching up, then you go to like new business, then you have action items, whatever the case may be. Create those forms, have a checklist, right? These are all rinse and repeat type things. If you know you're going to always ask for client reviews and referrals, have that already set up where it automatically asks them or links them to a place where they can record a video to submit a referral. Like, these are the things that will save you time in the long run. I get that they sound like a lot today, right? You're like, well, I got a lot to do already. I get that they sound like a lot today, but I promise you, if you devote some time, maybe once a week, to working on these things, in a year you'll have it all set up. Maybe even less time than that, and then it's gonna make life just so much easier as you progress. So I've been mentioning a lot of systems and things like that, and the reason why is because systems truly do free up our time. I know for me, I got into business not to do admin, not to be IT, not to be the janitor, not to be the sales manager. I got into business because I wanted to support small businesses. I wanted to work with people and make a big impact. I don't want to be bogged down with all the other stuff. Do the other things need to get done? Absolutely. But I don't want to have to do that. And for a long time, and even now, there are still some tasks that I have to do that I am not able to currently delegate away. But with that being said, if I think of systems and SOPs, which are our standard operating procedures that I can utilize to get rid of some things, why not do that? Why not make it easier yourself? Because now I get to focus more on creating products, connecting with you guys, and actually doing the things that I came into business to do. So again, I get it sounds like a lot, but at the end, this bit of work on the front end is going to save you tons of time, tons of headache, and it's going to make your client experience so much better. Because I'm sure you have at least once in your life paid for or attended something that you were like, they gonna have to step their game up. They got to do better. I'm sure that's happened because it's happened to all of us. You don't want that to be the experience of people that are coming in to work with you. You don't want that. You want people to be like, wow, this is something else, boy. I can't even tell you how many people are impressed just because I have an appointment scheduler. They're like, oh wow, okay, cool. Like, let me just click the button and oh wow, cool. Like, they are so hyped about that. And I'm like, that's just one small software we utilize so that I don't have to go back and forth constantly and send links and reminders, right? People are like, okay, this is business. I'm not even gonna lie, some of my family members have tried to talk to me and I'm like, hey, here's a link. Here's a link. And they're like, oh, this changes the tone. We realize we're talking about business. And so that may even help you guys when you have a lot of people trying to suck up your time for free, because people will do what people are going to do, right? They're going to try to get the most out of you. And they're not trying to be malicious. They're just trying to do what they got to do. They want the information. That's why a lot of you are sitting out here giving away things for free, right? But if you put things in place where they have to go through you like a business, they're going to treat you like a business. They're going to understand that at the end of these conversations, there's going to be an investment that's going to be requested, right? And they're more likely to invest because they realize that we're not kikiing, we're not friends. We are here about business, about growth, about moving our potential. And they respect that more, right? So sometimes we got to remember, we got to show up like a business to be treated like a business, regardless if you're one person or 100 employees, right? We got to show up like a business. So I've been mentioning SOPs, those standard operating procedures. I do want to, before we go today, just touch on a few of those, because if you don't have these in place, these may be some places to start. I did a whole talk earlier in the month just dedicated to SOPs. I would suggest you go back and watch that. If you have more questions, you can always, guys, always put a question in the comment section or book a free call to talk to me. I'm actually going to be working on the links and on all of your platforms. Look, all the platforms. You will have updated links hopefully by the end of the week / the beginning of the month, so that you'll be able to easily access materials and things that I've been talking about. But when it comes to SOPs, content creation, how your content is made. I was literally talking to one of my clients today, one of my consulting clients, and I was like, hey, I'm making my content for 2024. Like, I plan to be done by the end of the year with like the bulk, like 90% of it. And she was like, how? I was like, because I know who my target audience is. I know the types of things I talk about. So why not go ahead and make all my 2D images? Why not go ahead and create all my blogs and articles around those? Why not plan my lives around those topics? Why not record those sessions and then upload them as part of projects? All I have to do is sit and plan it. I should know by now who my target audience is. We've been in business for a while. And then I don't have to think about it. My team will be cutting, chopping, editing, posting, and I'll still be recording some things in real time because in my niche, right, and especially the marketing side, there's always new technology happening, new things coming out. So there'll always be things that I'm going to add, but the bulk of what I'm talking about will stay the same. The strategies for business will more than likely stay the same. And so for the most part, I can create all that ahead of time. So maybe take some time for the holiday break, because I know I have a lot of ed consultants. So you guys are still in the classroom or in the schoolhouse. Take some time over the Christmas break and create all your content, or at least most of it, right? And then also create an SOP, not for just creating content, but posting the content. I've talked before about the fact that we use an app called later.com. It's later.com. And that is what we use to schedule not only my content, but all of my clients' content. It allows us to see reporting. It allows us to schedule at different times on multiple platforms. And it's an ease. It's a great way. I actually was talking today, matter of fact, about like pricing, like why our social media is the investment it is. And I said, because with a VA, a lot of times you have to tell them what to write, right? You have to tell them what to do. We ghostwrite for you based on your niche and what your goals are, right? We create the content for you. And then on top of that, we post the content for you. And so literally, once we've been with you for a bit, you literally never have to look at your social media again, except for doing like your lives and again your engaging parts, and the rest of it's done in the background for you, right? You don't even have to think about it. That's already a system that's in place, and you don't have to worry about it. Moving on to other SOPs, emailing, right? A lot of your value emails you could be writing today. Outside of that, you could put an SOP in place for how you do your email. So what are your email campaigns like around lead generation? What are your email campaigns out like around product launches? What are your email campaigns around events, whatever the case may be? And go ahead and put that system in place. And it could be something as simple as a month out, 2 weeks out, a week out, day of, post event, whatever the case may be. Do you have SOPs for appointment setting, invoicing, funnels, reporting? A lot of you guys are making things and doing things and never going back to look at your reports. If you're posting on social media, you should be looking at your analytics. If you are taking any money in, right, you should be looking at your invoices, your expenses, your overhead, your profit margins. You should be looking at all that. If you're creating funnels, you should be looking at how good those are doing. If you have any pop-ups anywhere, the list goes on and on. you should be getting those reports and then adjusting as needed. But you need SOPs in place to tell you what frequency and how you'll be monitoring it, and what success means. What is the success markers, the metrics for understanding what success looks like for you within your business. So today, just to kind of recap, we talked about having a client-centric efficiency way of thinking about our business, right? A client-centric business, focusing on the customer, making sure we're tailoring our business to the customer and to our business needs, making sure we have great communication, making sure that our sales, our clients, prospective and current, and team members are happy and engaged. We've talked about making sure that the communication piece, that responsiveness is there. We've talked about making sure that we're consistent through rinse and repeat systems, and softwares such as SOPs and other affordable softwares that you can definitely check out in our affordables resource list. I know I gave you a lot today, but I wanted to make sure that we kind of wrapped up the month in a nice little bow. I'm trying to see here. We have one more Monday in the month, and I think I'm going to go back and look at all of our past talks and kind of see if there is anything else that I want to tag in. I think maybe we will do a little bit more focus on the actual platforms. I think that'll be helpful because I've been talking about platforms. So I think that'll be the majority of the talk we do next week. So definitely remember to come back Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, if you're not following us on TikTok, please do. There you go, camera. Please do. But thank you guys. TikTok showed up and showed out. I really am enjoying it. I'll look at the full analytics later, but I appreciate y'all. We got 565 likes on this live, so thank you. Instagram was in the house. Thank you guys. Look, Instagram was the most engaged. We got some comments in here, so thank you guys. Facebook, YouTube, y'all better show up and show out from next time, and LinkedIn. Y'all need to show up and show out. But I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. My goal for 2024 is really just to be more engaged. I want to be more tapped in to you guys. I definitely am not going to say that I haven't been, because I have. I will tap myself on the back and say, girl, you've been trying. But it's a lot of platforms and so it's a lot of people. And so that's why I'm doing so much groundwork right now in prep for the new year, so that my main focus can be you guys, you guys, and talking to you and giving you the most. And so please do engage. Let me know what you're looking for, right? Because I'm a small business coach, but I always tell people I specialize in affordable sales and marketing strategies, right? We do a little bit of business fundamentals. We do a little bit of scalability, but our bulk is about affordable marketing and sales strategies for small business owners just like yourself. So if you have something you want us to talk about, if you want us to dive into a specific topic or answer a question, I really do encourage you to let us know. Whether you want to let us know in the comments. I know some of you are more private and you send me DMs. I try to get to every single DM, every single email. So please do never be afraid to reach out, because we are here to support you guys. Like, this is what I'm here for. But again, shout outs to all of our amazing platforms. If you're watching it live or the replay, shout outs to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube in the house. We will see you guys here next Monday, Eastern Standard Time at 6 p.m., right? Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Have a great